Good morning, everyone. It's time to go on the record.
I would never do anything to break the rules. I didn't alter the law in any way.
Tom, what will we tell our grandchildren? And how will this deflated fall from grace impact the potential Brady political career? We'll discuss. Congressman Jim McGovern is here today. How his voters in central and western Massachusetts are taking to the proposed Boston 2024 Olympics. And
the fast multiplying field of Republican presidential candidates. Are people keeping up?
From WCPB Boston, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day. I'm Ed Harding, along with Janet Wu, our News Center 5 political reporter. Thank you for joining us in OTR. Our guest this morning is Jim McGovern. The Worcester resident represents the 2nd Congressional District and has served for 8 terms. He is the second-ranking Democrat on the Powerful Rules Committee. He also sits on the Agricultural Committee as well. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Happy to be with you.
Great to see you.
You have a relatively new district. It's been a couple of years, but it extends into western Massachusetts. So if you take a look at this map to see how far it is from greater Boston, how do your constituents feel about a possible 2024 Olympics?
Look, I think people are open-minded, and I think they would like to have the Olympics come to Massachusetts. I think the question is, is there any benefit to central and western Massachusetts? And I think the success ultimately of the Olympic bid is going to be whether or not there's some sweeteners in there to make sure that people believe that their investments will be made not just in Boston, but in Worcester and all the way out to the western part of the state.
Like what kind of sweeteners would they like to see?
Infrastructure investments. There are lots of challenges that we have in central and western Massachusetts. Aging infrastructure, that old bridges. We have bridges in Massachusetts that are older than most of the states in this country. But if I think people outside of the metropolitan Boston area believe that Boston gets more than its fair share. The big dig is still central in people's minds. And I think what people are open to is, we want Boston to be great, but we would like a little investment out in the western part of the state, too.
You sit in Congress. Is there the financial appetite for that? I mean, is there the money to be able to support that?
Well, we're going to have to find the money to support that. And one of the failures of Congress right now is we haven't passed a long-term transportation bill. We need to find, a revenue source. But I'm willing to support additional revenues if it means direct investments in infrastructure. We're not going to be economically competitive unless we, upgrade our infrastructure.
Will your vote and your constituents' votes depend on these sweeteners extending out to central and western Massachusetts?
Yeah, I think people, like I said, I think are intrigued by the elections coming to Massachusetts. I think they want to be supportive. They just want to make sure that they don't get shut out of everything. I think that to the extent that a case can be made that there will be investments outside of Boston, that there are benefits to central and western Massachusetts, I think people will be more likely to support the Olympics.
You are obviously a resident of Massachusetts, and I respect the privacy of your vote, but it sounds like you would vote yes on a referenda question if it was put in front of you.
I'd be proud if the Olympics came to Massachusetts. I want it all to work out. I want this to be a win-win-win-win-win. If it isn't, then it's going to be more difficult. But I think we can get to a successful conclusion.
Are you being lobbied intensively by either side?
No. I mean, I'd like to watch the Olympics. And I think it would be a great honor for Massachusetts if the Olympics were here. And I think we can work something out where everybody benefits. I hope we can get to that.
This is graduation time. President Obama campaigned on the issue of student debt, but frankly, very little has been done so far to really make it easier for the middle class to afford college. What needs to be done, and can it be done now?
Well, a lot needs to be done. I mean, we need to make it so that students are debt-free when they get out of college. I support the President's proposal for a free community college for residents of this country, and there are other things we need to do to try to incentivize people who want to go to college so they can afford it. The problem is Congress, and Congress doesn't want to spend one additional penny on anything. And as a result, we're kind of at a standstill. But I will tell you, one of the most successful pieces of legislation that Congress ever passed was the GI Bill of Rights, guaranteeing all the veterans from World War II a free education. It cost a lot of money, but we made that all back 100-fold. It was one of the best investments we ever made.
But is there anything on the table right now that has a fairly good chance of helping the folks that owe money from college? There's $1.2 trillion worth of debt that are sitting out there that people still owe. Anything being done to help those folks?
Right now, Congress is at a standstill. The president has some good ideas. Congress should take them up. One of the things I've urged the Speaker of the House to do is, even if you disagree with what the president has proposed, bring his bills to the floor, let the majority of the House work its will, and and that'll be that. But we're not even able to get some of these ideas to see the light of day on the House floor.
So what's blocking that?
The Speaker.
Wouldn't it be a logical conclusion to get it to the floor?
It would be, but when you're in the leadership, when you're in the majority, you control what goes on the House and Senate floor.
Yeah.
And the Republican leadership in the House and in the Senate basically do not want to see some of these bills come to the floor. And I think that's unfortunate, because this issue of student debt is a huge problem. I represent a lot of the greatest colleges and universities in the world in my district. My son is 17. We're looking at colleges right now, so I understand the high cost of college. But look, if we're going to be economically competitive, we need to have a well-educated workforce, and that means people have to be able to get a college education and afford it.
So it sounds like you're saying no, there's very little hope that anything's going to be done about
I think right now there's very
existing
little
debt or
hope.
helping people.
I mean, I don't see, unless the Speaker wakes up tomorrow and gets religion on the issue. Up to this point, he's blocked every single initiative we've had to try to address the issue of student debt.
All right, now you, sir, get to address the issue of the OTR Pop Quiz.
Already?
And time flies when you're having fun, right? It's May, Congressman, so it's time for commencement ceremonies, as Janet just mentioned. So that's the theme of today's OTR Pop Quiz.
Okay.
Question 1. It is said, and I'm quoting here, "It never rains on a Harvard graduation." What former Bay State leader used the address and will address the 2015 class of his alma mater later this month? It never rains on a Harvard graduation. What former Bay State leader will address the 2015 class of his alma mater later this month?
I don't know.
That would be Deval Patrick, Harvard class of 1978.
I should have guessed that, yeah.
Graduates
He'll be a good speaker.
Graduates of Southern Methodist University will hear from a former president who was no longer engaged in policy, but oil painting. Who will they hear from?
George Bush.
George W. Bush, the 43rd president, a resident, of course, of the state of Texas. We continue with Congressman McGovern. Stay with us on the record.